Seems like just yesterday my dad picked me up after my first year at college. We popped a couple of beers, and he said, now, you're a man. And today I get to say the same thing to my son.
Honey, your speech is embarrassing, so try and do what the kids say and just be cool.
I think I bring new meaning to the word cool, honey.
All right. So today we are going to talk about fathers. I don't believe any of us are dads here.
That I know of.
Yes, that we know of. But we all have a dad, whether it's biological, adopted, or surrogate. Everyone kind of knows this idea of a father figure in their life. So I thought, since today is Father's Day and we're spending it here rather than with our fathers, let's talk about fathers in pop culture. So we're going to talk about the worst dads, the best dads, dads you'd want to have, and then I have a little special area called the most dangerous dads. Ooh, yes. So let's start with you guys. I told you to bring like one or two that you think in those categories of what you think, and then we'll discuss whether you're correct or not. And it's like a little debate. We're gonna have a little debate. It's like CNN. You guys are watching CNN right now, but the nerd version of it.
I feel pretty strong about my choices.
Okay, all right.
Well, I talked to the podcast's biggest fan, Brett Swinehart.
Oh, did you? You consulted our number one fan.
And he said Red from That 70s Show.
Okay, that's a good one, but for what category?
All of them.
All of them. Best dad, worst dad,
best
most
dad.
dangerous dad. All right, cool. So
I think that does hit all three.
You start then. What do you think is the? We'll start with worst dads. What
Well,
do
if
you
you're
think?
trying to hit all three, I think Red kind of hits all of them.
Kind of, but what would you classify him as? You got to pick one. You can't let him.
I'd say he hits all three.
So why would he be the worst dad?
Because he's an asshole.
Because here's the thing.
But that's also why he's the best
Did
dad.
you just bring one dad for everything? Like, that's it?
Yeah, just one dad for everything.
One and done?
Because I put Red Foreman here in the best dad category for me. And the reason I did was because he may be hard on his son and friends sometimes, but he taught them valuable lessons the hard way. Which I don't think that
Sometimes
just
maybe.
because he's being like a jerk to them, he's not putting up with their crap. He's not just doing it for the reason of being a jerk. It's like they're being snot-nosed teenagers, and he's being like, I'm not going to take it, and I'm going to teach you along the way. So I wouldn't say it's the worst dad because he does that.
Just like that good old American tough love.
Yes,
mentality.
exactly.
He fought in the war.
He fought in the war.
That doesn't make
Commies
you
were
a
all
dad.
around. It was the 70s. His actions are loving, even though his words aren't. I mean, he let Hyde
Not always.
come in and stay with them. He also didn't kick Eric out for being an idiot sometimes. Because let's be honest, we love the kids because they're funny, but if I had them as children, I would be frustrated and I would have kicked them out. So
his daughter was a prostitute.
yeah, and exactly. But funny about that is the only one that he kind of gave any leniency to, even though she was the most outwardly
I
bad.
just thought she reminds me of Jenny from Forrest Gump. Like,
Oh my gosh. So is that your pick, Red Foreman, for all categories?
No, that was Brett's pick.
Oh, okay, Brett's pick. So then what was your pick?
I don't have one yet.
Okay, let's start down at the end, Cole.
Oh, great.
What do you think for worst dad?
For worst dad. Well, you told me to get three.
Oh, did I say-
So I should
Yeah,
just
you
pick
said
one?
three.
No, okay,
said 1
1
to
to
3.
3. You can do as many as you want. I just was giving
I have
people
74.
options.
Is
Okay.
that okay?
Did you? No, you didn't.
No.
Okay. Is that a joke? Yeah, you could do all 3. That's totally
Is that
fine.
a joke?
I don't know anymore. My life is. I can't figure out my life. Okay.
He's just having a mental breakdown right now.
Guys, it's Father's Day and I don't have a child. What am I? No. Okay. So go ahead, Cole.
Well, one of them is Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother
As worst dad.
as worst. dad.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So what are the points why you think he's the worst dad?
Makes his kids listen to that dumb story.
Yes.
Made us listen to that dumb
Yes.
story. He's kind of a douchebag the whole series.
Yes.
And he doesn't really go anywhere. All the other characters are great.
Yeah.
He's kind of just a bad dad.
Well, here's the thing. For how much he says he wants love and he's all into love, I'm like, you really don't care. Like, you're going to bars, you're meeting hot chicks. Like, my wife always says, whenever you're in your group of friends and you're like, oh, I'm bringing my super hot girlfriend over, That's normally not the one that lasts. It's the one where you're like, she's not that good looking, but I love her. So my wife always says that's how you know they're the keeper, when you're not just like flaunting how hot
Is
they
your
are.
wife saying that's how you should describe her?
No, that she's just saying that's how you know.
That's just
No,
how
man.
she describes Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. She's just letting me know that's what she tells her
So
friend.
we've
Yeah.
been doing it wrong. When you go to the bar, you got to find the homeliest looking.
Yes,
chick.
exactly.
Okay. Like
Yes.
a little snaggletooth.
Snack.
Pop-a-clock.
Exactly.
But they're going to be funny.
Yes, personality to me is everything. But I agree with you. Not only did he make his kids listen to that stupid story revolved a lot around him just sleeping with tons of people.
I was gonna
Like
say,
they were really bad stories you should not be telling your teenage children.
Yeah.
Not to mention the whole story was a ruse to get them to be okay with him banging his best friend from from earlier in life after the mom died. Spoiler alert if you
bad
haven't
dad.
seen it yet.
But let's give him credit. He did call weed sandwiches.
That's true. The one thing that he censored for his children was weed, which
Why
is
did he
now the
censor
thing.
that?
Yeah, which is now the thing that's legal and probably gonna be legal everywhere. So yes, I agree. Ted Mosby was a terrible dad. What's another one?
Ooh, Walter White.
Walter White. Okay, I can see him starting out as a good dad, and then that just spiraled real bad.
And real quick.
Yeah, I think that he used the idea of family as like a crutch for what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were some of your
That was a mean joke.
what? Oh. Sorry, Walt Jr. So, I'm mean and I don't even realize it. What the heck?
Oh my god.
So what were some of the points you had why he's a terrible father, except for
He
making fun
makes
of-
drugs.
That's true. That's a good one.
That should be the
Done.
only thing.
Makes drugs. Drug lords try and kill him
Yeah.
and his family. We're good. Yeah.
He puts his family in danger. He doesn't really care about his family.
Yeah.
He just cares about,
Yeah, I agree.
his inner self because he found this weakness in himself and he wanted to feel powerful.
Yeah. It's like the Napoleon complex kind of.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he litters pizza. He throws
Yeah.
it on roofs.
Like, come on, why? And then not only did he do that, but now the poor lady that lives in that house has people do that all the time too. So he's just a terrible person in general. I also feel like he's a bad dad because he was more of a father to this dropout kid from his high school than he was to his own son. Like, I feel like Jesse became his kid, even though he had kids already. Like, he just kind of threw them into a
And
corner.
he also treated Jesse like shit.
Oh yeah, totally.
He just
Totally.
was a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even his fake son, like he treated
Yeah.
like garbage.
All right, I like it. So what's your third one then?
Batman.
Batman. Okay, hang on. So here we can have a discussion because I have Batman under a good. Oh, no, I have him under not sure dads. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me why you think he's a bad dad because I started with him in the bad dad column and then by the end of it I was like I'm not so sure anymore. So give me your reasonings and then we'll go through this.
Well, he adopts a whole lot of
Mhm.
children.
Yes.
Sounds weird. But he does have an actual child.
Two actually.
Two.
Yes, Damian Wayne. And then
Who's the second?
the second one is with Selena Kyle. I forget which story arc it's in, but he had Helena.
So see.
Helena something?
See?
Helena-
I
yeah.
don't even know about that one.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, I don't know. In the one story arc he does.
But yeah, he's not even a good dad to Damien. I was gonna bring
Yeah.
up Damien. I didn't know about the other one.
Mhm.
But I mean, what was he's super hard on his kids.
Mhm.
He makes them fight crime.
That's
Some-
true. That's
some
not a good thing.
Underwear
Let's-
on the outside.
Yeah.
Puts them in danger.
Not only lets
constantly.
them fight crime, but encourages them and
Like-
trains them to do
He's
it.
Yeah.
messed up because his parents died, and what does he do? Puts
Yes.
himself like in a situation to die
But-
like every day.
But let's.
Exactly.
But here we go. Here's why I kind of turned it here is because he took people who were all kind of criminals and thugs and on a path of revenge that was probably going to end as villains at some point. He took them and then molded them into heroes. Whether or not they were the best people, he took like what's the one? Oh my gosh, what's Dick Grayson? He's the one whose parents got killed. He was in the circus, right? He was on a path of revenge, and that's all he wanted. He was gonna pretty much kill himself to get back at the people that killed his parents. And Batman kind of pushed him into a more heroic form. Damian Wayne, same way. He was raised in the League of Assassins. He was super angry. He kind of molded him into being more heroic. He took these kids who would have been on a bad path and molded them to become heroes instead of villains. That's one reason why I thought, okay, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Then also, he may not show love in the traditional sense, but he accepts them like a father should a child, teaches them by example, maybe not the best example, but teaches them by example, helps them get past their issues and challenges them to be better people, as well as protecting them in the process.
Yeah, but
100% wrong. Alfred's the real father.
Alfred's the real dad.
Okay, yes.
Everything you just said was completely wrong.
Yes.
Number one dad.
Alfred's the dad.
So I will give you this. He is a bad dad, but but from a certain point of view,
He's a
you
good
could say
he's a good
he's
superhero
a good
trainer.
He
dad.
does have redeeming factors. He is very rich.
That's true. And why
That's great.
I'd want my dad to be
Best
rich.
dad.
Yeah. But let's also be honest, if you want to take my thought process all the way down to it, doesn't Dick Grayson turn into like a villain after some things and doesn't all of them end up turning into some villain by some point?
Some do.
Some do, yes.
Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing.
No, Nightwing. Who's the one
Red Hood?
in
there's
the
Red
dark?
Hood.
Yeah, the Red Hood. Is that Jason Todd?
Yeah.
So Jason Todd becomes the Red Hood and kills people. So he's got a 50-50 thing going on. Some of them are good.
That's a really good batting average, though.
That's
He's
true.
batting 500.
And
That's
because you're a
quite good.
He's
baseball
either making
fan.
them baseball. It's because he's going so extreme. You're trying to make him a superhero or a super. They're gonna or they're becoming a super villain. You could just become a banker.
Yeah. Why does it?
He's going extreme.
Yeah.
You can
Just
become
be a
the
normal person. So I
Stockbroker.
agree. I will concede that yes, he is a bad. I just put it in the not sure column because after a little bit I was like, I'm actually not quite so sure yet.
Well, I feel like if we're doing the best and the worst, and if you're not sure, then they shouldn't be on the top of the top because
I don't know. We'll see if we come up with anyone better for the best
And he makes
or
this
the
kid
worst
wear-
lists.
He makes these little boys run around in spandex, fighting grown men. That's
only
creepy.
only the
That's
old school
wrong.
stuff, not so much the newer
but
school stuff.
to go off your point of
Yes.
what would make him good, I mean, forcing and molding your children into doing what you want to do isn't necessarily the best parenting.
No, that's true. I guess that's
tactic.
pageant parenting.
Yeah, it's so pageant parenting. So while he's smearing Vaseline on their teeth so they can smile for
Yeah.
the judges, they could have been like, "Hey, Damien, what do you want to do?"
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's why a lot of them.
I want to be a ballet dancer.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna fight crime.
So you guys are gonna be against me saying Honey Boo Boo's dad's a great dad.
Does Honey Boo Boo have a dad?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
is
they've
his
got-
name Sugar Bear?
Yeah.
Is it really?
No.
Good
She
Lord.
They're all real
she
creepy
wasn't
names.
conceived that way.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Cole.
Are you saying
You're
that
done.
This is maybe immaculate conception?
You did your 3, Cole.
I'm just saying, have you seen the mom?
Wow. All right,
Pretty
Cam.
immaculate.
Let's hear yours, Cam, for worst dads now.
All right, so my first one is Han Solo,
Okay.
which pains me because he's one of probably my most favorite character of all time in the
For
history of
Ben
cinema.
Solo, or are you going back to Legends stuff?
No.
Okay.
Just Ben Solo.
Okay.
Right? Totally neglects him.
Yes.
Is gone. Is a scavenger. Not a scavenger, but a scoundrel.
Yeah.
Going around doing the Han Solo thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then is just at the end, right before he dies, he's just like, "Hey man, I'm your dad. You should love me."
Yeah.
He's just such a douche.
Yeah.
It's awful.
You should listen to me now,
Yeah.
even though I haven't been here for
At
20
all.
years.
And I know you're feeling a lot of pain, but
Yeah.
forget it, man.
Yeah, whatever. Let me help you.
Right.
Yeah. No, I guess
Awful.
that's true. It is a bad dad, I guess.
It's just it's a dad that's just shows up every once in a while, or will send you $5 in a birthday card every 7 years.
He's the kind of dad who's gonna eventually date your prom date, you know?
Oh, good old Han Solo. What do you think Han Solo sent as a birthday card? You know how we get $5? What do you think? Credits don't fit in a card. What do you think they sent?
5
in the
chewy
story?
hairs.
The 5 chewy hairs. Here you go.
Oh wait, hang on. Are Chewie's pubes called tubes?
Oh! These are the hard-hitting questions on this podcast.
George Lucas, call me.
Yeah, come on.
Oh my god.
I love it.
All right. So my second bad dad is Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Oh, yes, I have that too.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Because he's Jack Torrance
Yeah.
from
Yes.
The
Do you
Shining.
need a reason?
I guess you don't need a reason.
I mean, even before he goes crazy and starts trying to cut them into pieces, there's even mention of him hitting his wife before when
and
he drinks.
he pulled Danny's
And he
arm out
pulled
of the
his arm-
socket.
Pulled his
Yeah.
arm out of the socket, and he was just an aggressive drunk. And
Yeah.
it's really not. That's not good.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's a writer that kind of sucks.
That's true.
He also has a shitty career.
Did he? I don't remember in the book because I read the book too. If he had anything published of significance, he didn't. Right? He was pretty much a failing writer the whole time.
failing writer, and he thought going and isolating himself would give
Okay.
him more inspiration.
Which
as a writer, it
and
doesn't work.
let's be honest, a dad that could be pretty much possessed by evil spirits in a hotel is not a great dad to have.
No.
So
No, very low.
Not to mention,
low constitution.
so I wrote like he was abusive and a drunkard and ultimately tries to kill his kid, bad kid. But let's be honest, he goes in and he would rather sleep with a moldy old corpse.
Right.
Like he doesn't even question it. He walks into this room, naked lady, when this building's supposed to be empty, and just is like, "Yeah, let's do stuff."
Like,
Like,
all right.
that's a bad dad.
Yeah, terrible dad. Third bad dad is Michael Bluth from Arrested Development.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was one I did not think of. So
It's just
give us why.
Well, he always says it's like, what's the most important thing? And he's family, right?
Yes.
But then the whole time he doesn't listen to anything George Michael has to say. He is super narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, he has a whole bunch of terrible people to take
That's true,
care
because
of.
like I feel like the funny thing is when you pull him out of that scenario, he's a bad guy, but when you put him in it, it's like the cheerleader effect. Like he looks a lot better.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like the shiniest turd.
Yes.
You know? It's like, oh man, great, that one has a piece of corn in it.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Cool. I'll take it. I like it.
Little
Yeah.
emoji turd.
Yeah.
He's smiling.
yeah. That's so true. Like I didn't even think of Michael Bluth for that.
Yeah. I originally wanted to go with Job Bluth because for the same reason, like about Han Solo, right?
Yeah.
With like him and Steve Holt. Like,
Yes.
Like he's
Steve Holt!
like he's not there, right? Like he's
Yeah.
like he's.
Did he
always-
even
always takes
know?
a-
He didn't know until
No, he figures it out in like season 2, but he keeps taking those forget me nows.
Yes,
like those
that's
riffies, so
right.
he doesn't
Yes.
have to be with his dad.
Oh my gosh. It's so that show is so just depraved. I love it.
It's perfect.
It's great.
It's a perfect television.
Yeah, that show is great.
But yeah, Michael Bluth for sure. And even when George Michael brings Anne or Egg
Yeah.
or whatever over, like he just does not
Egg.
care about
Yeah.
like his son having like his first romantic. Like,
yeah, he really
partner,
puts
you
her
know?
down too,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
to her face.
He calls
Crazy.
her plain.
yeah, plain. Like
And then like both of them say that joke. Like Job's like I'm gonna do my Job. Like, what is she funny or something?
yeah,
And then and Michael does the same thing too.
yeah. Oh, it's
That
so
was
funny.
Pretty spot on right there.
Thank you.
I totally agree with that. That's one I did not think of. I totally agree with it. My favorite part in Arrested Development ever is when Job is like doing that magic thing in the church, and he goes, "Jesus was not a magician," and everyone's like, "Yay!" And then he's like, "He was an illusionist," and they're all like, "Oh." That part made me laugh
Yeah.
so hard. I love it. It was great.
Like,
Comedic timing is
Aside
perfect.
note, like I've heard that Ozark is like so freaking good.
Oh, Ozark's
That's
I have
incredible.
not
Great.
been able to watch it because someone posted before I saw anything about it. Someone posted the trailer for Ozark.
Yeah.
But as an Arrested Development theme.
Oh, that's funny.
So-
That's funny.
So it just
That's
ruined it
good.
for you.
Well, I watched Ozark the week before I went up to Bass Lake to stay, and I was staying in a
man.
cabin just like that. And I'm like, we need to rip into the walls. There's probably millions of dollars in these walls. Yeah, it's great. No, that show is awesome. You need to check it out.
check it out.
I'm pretty sure season 2's coming out sometime this year. I
Very,
think
very soon.
Soon? Yeah, that was good. Does Jason Bateman only play douchebags?
Mostly.
Well, it's because he's so like cocky and handsome that he can do
I
it,
guess.
right?
Is
So
he
it
like
makes him
that in real
charismatic.
life?
I don't know. I just know he loves Dodger baseball. And, like,
Okay, so he's a good guy in your eyes. Then,
in my
right?
eyes, yeah. He goes to the game and he listens to it on the radio
Wow.
too. Like
That's hardcore.
A bunch of like celebrities will say it's like it's the worst going to games with him because
Yeah.
he doesn't talk to you or do anything because he listens to the
Yeah.
broadcast while
I go to the games and I have headphones in too, but I'm actually watching Star Wars. No. All right, so Craig, what do you got going here?
I contest that I'm gonna go with the worst, absolute worst first. I think the worst dad in all the history of like pop culture is Stan Marsh. He is
Stan
the
Marsh.
worst-
Yeah.
he is the worst human being.
I'm sorry, I
ever.
thought this was America.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a pretty
That's
bad
bad.
dad. He's a pretty bad dad.
He's terrible. Like
I think
like,
all the parents in South Park are pretty
Yeah,
bad.
but I feel like he's just the worst. He constantly just is all about himself.
Yeah.
Constantly neglects his kids.
Mhm.
Like changes his career. You know, like is just off doing all this terrible things.
And he drinks and drives quite a bit.
Oh yes.
With the children in the car sometimes.
Yes.
That's not a good dad.
Yeah, like he literally like he wanted to sacrifice like the ability to use the internet just to masturbate. you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he's a
the
bad
whole-
dad. I agree. Does anyone debate that?
No, not at all.
Nope. I think the whole point of South Park though is that they're terrible people.
I know, but if you just go with pop culture, I feel like he
Yeah.
just like stands out. He's
I
the
agree.
worst.
I agree.
And then the other one, Peter Griffin,
Peter Griffin.
terrible father.
terrible father.
Should never be a
I
father.
feel like I wrote him down, but I don't remember where I wrote him. I did not write him down. Yep, didn't write him down. Yeah, I agree. He's a bad dad.
Yeah.
He farts in Meg's face, so that's a bad dad.
Pink eye.
Yeah, he's gonna give her. Pink.
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I guess it's kind of bad because it's very similar to Stan Marsh, but like they're both just like they get off being funny, but they do all these really f***ed up things.
Oh yeah, totally. He
Barked up things.
beats his kids for sure.
Yeah.
So did you just have two?
No, I have one more.
Oh, man.
I did kind of group consulting. I went out and with Joe and Robert, and we were kind of bouncing ideas off.
Yeah.
They said I don't watch Sunny from Philadelphia, but they said Frank from Sunny.
Oh yeah, I almost put Frank on here. Yeah, he's an ass.
dad.
Oh yeah.
Best dad. 10 out of 10.
He'd give you a rum ham.
I feel like he does better with Charlie than he does with his kids. Like he's more like a good dad to Charlie, even though they kind of get into some crazy shenanigans. Maybe not actually. Now that I'm thinking about
just
it,
a bad person.
he's just a bad person all around. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's a pretty bad guy. Yeah, for sure. So I agree with that. What's his name in that show?
Frank.
Frank. You said Frank.
Yeah.
Correct. I haven't watched It's Sunny in so long.
So good.
Yeah,
it's
it
one
is
of the
good.
best shows
I think
ever.
I've only made it to like season 4 ever.
Oh,
'cause-
keep going.
Yeah, I always like start again and then get to a certain point and then kind of fall off, and I'm like, well, I want to go back and watch it.
You watch The Office all season.
I know. Well, that's
5
just
times in a row.
that's just on in the background nonstop to
Well,
fall asleep
You could
too.
just do that with.
I guess I could, but then I wouldn't fall asleep because I have to pay attention to a show I haven't seen yet.
You don't have to.
Hey, don't give me a hard time. Tell me your answers that you don't have.
I was just thinking. I think Ego in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie is
Oh,
probably the
Ego is
worst.
a terrible
He
dad.
keeps like
Really
a
bad
whole
dad.
cave full of dead children bodies.
Yeah,
of him.
he is.
Yeah.
He's an awful
Like,
dad.
that's inside of him too. Which is I guess kind of nice. I don't know. He's a planet.
He has a
and
piece of all his
he
children
just
with
keeps
him.
his dead kids with him, so because maybe he still likes them a little bit.
No, I don't
really
know.
I don't know. Why didn't you
think
just
about
shoot
it
him
that
out to
way.
space?
I don't know. Like Star Trek, just shoot him off into space.
I don't know. Is that a Star Trek thing?
Yeah, it is.
Just because it's in space?
Yep, exactly. Is that your one?
I don't know. Then I think you just think about probably every like superhero.
Well, because
thing.
one of mine I have is one of my top bad ones is Thanos, and it goes along the same lines as that he sends his kids to kill and doesn't care about the consequences as long as it furthers his plot for power. He openly tells his kids which one is his favorite to inspire fighting between them so they cannot band together against him. And even though he may feel some love towards Gamora in this last movie, he still ultimately is willing to sacrifice her just for his own personal gain. And
I think Ego was worse.
yeah, I don't know. They try and humanize him in the sense that he's like, I'm doing it because I believe in this, that it's gonna better the universe. But I'm like, no, you really just want the power. So I think Thanos. Yeah, I think every superhero who has a kid or villain who has a kid or whatever, bad dads all around. Like, can we think of one superhero who's a good dad?
Mr. Incredible.
Ooh.
Okay, yes. Conventional superhero, not Pixar animated
Okay.
superhero.
I don't really know.
Did you
enough
guys
about
see the
superheroes.
Incredibles 2 yet?
Not
No.
yet.
Not yet.
No,
Have
so
you?
bad.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, it hasn't even come out yet, has it?
No, it did came
Yeah,
out
it
this
came
last
out.
week
I
or
guess-
this last.
$180
On my
million
birthday.
on Friday.
Oh, seriously, man, that's big. That's big
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it's like,
great.
We've been waiting 15 years for that sequel.
I know it's
so.
been a long time.
I would say, I guess, I don't think he sired any kids, but Professor X, he technically adopts all these kids.
I don't know. He's bad.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, first off, he has a kid, Legion, who he abandoned.
So yeah, I guess I'm not that versed in
Yeah.
the lore
Yeah.
of X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
shut
know
your
that.
mouth.
You shut your mouth. You get out of here. You leave. So yeah, Thanos is one of mine. I had Darth Vader as a worse dad. And I had a lot of reasons why. So let's forget that he was a deadbeat dad until Luke was old enough to be turned to the dark side, because there's argument to be said that he didn't know Luke and Leia survived. He was told by the Emperor, but I mean, like, if you're that powerful with the Force, come on, you should be able to see these things.
At least, yeah, feel it.
Feel that this happened, but
You don't know how the Force works.
But he
no
can't
one
even
knows how
feel
the Force works
he can't even
anymore.
feel his legs.
That's true. Yeah. So some would say that he's a bad guy, but a good dad. By some, I mean my wife tried to say that he's a bad guy, but he's a good dad, because ultimately he sacrifices himself for his son in the end, right? Like, but let's be honest, that wasn't his original intention. So originally he wanted Luke to join him, not to secure a father-son bond between them, but that he had someone to help him overthrow the Emperor so that he could become the most powerful person in the universe. So that was all selfish reasons, nothing to do with Luke. He's like, I just want anyone that's powerful enough to help me do this. And then, and let's also pretend like he wouldn't. So in Empire Strikes Back, He chops Luke's hand off. Bad dad move. Then he tells Luke,
My dad
like,
did that.
yeah, that's a great synthetic
Well,
hand you got over
When
there.
you can get
3D
super
printed.
cool robot hands, isn't it actually a gift?
But here's what I gotta say. So
a good point.
let's imagine this scenario going a different way. Chop hand off. Luke goes to the little antenna thing, and it's like, no, you're not my dad. So if he was like, no, you're not my dad, but I'm gonna walk towards you, Darth Vader would have killed him. Like, Darth Vader's intention was to kill him, like either turn him or kill him. And Luke just decided, hey, I'm gonna jump off this thing and not give you the satisfaction, maybe live, like kind of thing. So his intention was never to save Luke until the end. And just because Vader had one convenient moment of sincerity and empathy in his life doesn't make him a good dad. Just because he saved Luke at the end, where like he knew he was like gonna die, and he's like, "Well, I might as well save my kid."
Well, it's not like he's a child murderer.
I don't.
So.
Well, yeah. Wah, wah. Yeah. So I think he's a terrible dad. And then
Jar Jar, great dad.
there were two. Yeah.
Wait,
Jar Jar has to have kids.
I hope he doesn't.
Jar Jar's got to have kids.
Do Gungans have live birth or eggs?
I think they have eggs.
Awful.
Yeah, I imagine their birthing is like in the Matrix,
Okay.
where they come out of little like embryo sacs.
Okay.
Yeah, and just sort of like goopy.
To me, in my head, it's always been like little turtles trying to run to the shoreline.
Yes. You know what it probably is?
But
you know
all
those
just making awful Jar Jar sounds, like going like, and like, oh yucky, oh no, like I hate it.
What if those
The movie we need.
Yeah. What if those little balls that they use to throw at the
Those-
droids
the
are
blue,
eggs?
like,
yeah. What if those
Bad
are
dad.
eggs?
Bad
dad.
Sorry, Jar
Bad
Jar,
dad.
terrible dad.
Right there.
Well, are they really alive yet though?
Good point. Good point. All right, our
Let's
next
not
segment is
get it. Yeah, let's not get into the debate of when
Life at conception.
Yeah, life at conception and where that's
Awesome.
going. Yeah,
The robots are like,
pro-life, pro-choice, whatever.
Welcome to Wreck My Podcast.
Yeah, this is getting a little too much now. This shouldn't be a political podcast.
Hey man,
About Gungan conception.
Yeah, Gungan conception. Yes, exactly.
oh my god.
you want to talk Gungan? I'm talking Gungan.
So ridiculous. Okay, so two other ones I had was Dr. Evil, just because he was a pretty crappy dad. And then my other one, we touched on this in an earlier episode about Rocket Power, how Raymundo is just an absolutely awful dad. So did you guys watch Rocket Power when you were
Yeah.
younger? Okay, so the reasons why is he's a 40-something man, and although he owns a business, it's not a lucrative business, and he doesn't.
You don't know that.
Well, no, it says it's not a lucrative business. He doesn't see his kids often, except for when they want to do something he likes to do, like surfing. Regularly, he chases women around ocean shores, and in one episode, he couldn't even remember his kids' names because he was too busy trying to get laid. He taught his kids xenophobia because when tourists would come, they'd be like, "Ooh, shoobies," and they hated them. And it's like, they're bringing you money for your dad's business, and you're like trying to scoot them out. Like, that's not cool. And then Raymundo never punishes his children and teaches them there are no consequences because he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He wants to be their friend. So there's an episode where he's like, "Oh, Otto, you got a bad grade, so you can't go on this surfing trip." And by the end of the episode, he's like, "That's a bummer. Let's go on the surfing trip," even though Otto didn't bring his grades up or learn any lesson from it. So, yeah, Raymundo's a terrible dad. All right, so let's move into a little bit more fun area. Best dads of pop culture. So we'll start again with Cole down there.
Oh man.
Bring it, Coltrane.
Splinter, maybe bad dad. Has these kids live in the sewer.
That's
Oh.
true.
He saved them.
Yeah,
He didn't save them.
he kind of did.
Yeah, he sure did.
They could have lived good lives.
Because, like,
I doubt
the...
it.
was
I
on fire.
really
The
doubt it.
place threw them down there to like pretty much euthanize them, and
Just like, who just like throws turtles down there?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
who does that?
Who does that?
Probably Anakin.
Yes,
Yep.
bring it back around.
Number one is Clark Griswold from
Oh, that's
Vacation.
a good one. That's a really good one. I didn't think of that.
He's just a dad who really wants to
He
make
well.
his kids.
Would he be a good dad though? There's
Oh,
multiple
no.
times that he kind of like he almost gets in a wreck because he's too busy watching like that hot chick. And
But he's a human.
that's
Like,
true.
He's
It's
a
like-
man.
That's true. I will give him this. He's a good dad in the sense that when you think of it in real life, like he's a fine dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in the movie, yeah, he's like a bumbling idiot. But
Yeah.
like at the same time, he's trying to make sure his kids have fun.
That's true, and to the point in Christmas Vacation too, where like he pretty much buys the pool before he even has the money. And then he's like, he goes to, rather than getting rid of the pool, he wants his kids to have it so bad, he pretty much like kidnaps or goes and like
He doesn't
kidnap.
No.
Someone does, but he
Uncle
like
Eddie.
Uncle Eddie, but like he goes through all these hoops to eventually still get his kids a pool. So
He's good.
yeah, Clark, we'll give him that.
His kids a pool, or he wanted the pool?
He might be a
Well,
little
okay, here's the
selfish.
thing. He wanted his kids so badly to have fun at Wally World that he took a security guard hostage and made him
Or
put all the rides on.
did he want to relive his best
I
times
don't think
of
so.
going to Wally World?
You can't keep using the same argument. All right, so Clark Griswold, I'll agree with that.
And my second one is kind of like the animated Clark Griswold, which is Goofy.
Okay. Oh, that's
If
a
you think
good
about it,
one.
he's very
Goofy is a great dad.
Yeah,
Might embarrass you a little bit, but he's a great
And
dad.
he could teach you how to do the perfect cast.
That's true. Yes, that becomes a very popular dance. Remember at the very end,
I was like, wait, a
Max
real
goes
dance?
out. Yeah, Max
Yeah.
goes out and he does the like spinny thing.
during
and-
Powerline.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Great movie.
And those
Did you?
bell-bottoms.
Yeah. Did you watch the Extremely Goofy movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that was
Oh,
probably my
yeah.
favorite
Love
one.
that movie.
I
That's
never
hardcore.
knew as a kid that Pauly Shore was the voice of the whatever
cheese guy.
the
Yeah,
cheese
the
guy.
leaning
And then
tower of
yeah,
cheese.
it came back on Netflix like a year or two ago, and I rewatched it, and my wife fell asleep. But I had the most enjoyable experience because not only did I get to relive my childhood, I got to relive it knowing Pauly Shore was the voice of like the guy I love. My favorite line. Do you guys wonder why we're always wearing gloves? How Pauly Shore is that? I feel like that had to be ad-lib. That was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Okay, so I agree. Goofy, he's a great dad. I would have
Yeah.
Goofy as my dad.
He'd be
Yeah.
a great dad.
Yeah, I like it. So did you have 2 or 3 for this one?
I have a third one.
Okay.
I don't know if it's good.
All right, let's do it. This
I don't even know
podcast
if it's a
isn't good.
real dad. Did you guys see Stranger Things the second season?
Yes. Are you gonna say Hopper?
No.
Oh,
I was
Boom.
gonna say Bob.
Bob. Oh, I would say he's a great dad because
He's not technically a dad, but he's
Surrogate
a very
dad.
good
He wanted to be.
father figure.
he would have been if things went
Yeah.
better for poor
He
old Bob.
tried really hard.
It would have been. He would have been their dad, and
Yeah.
he would have been fine. It's it's a good dad when the kids are like, "You're so nerdy," but they still like humor him
Yeah.
because they feel that connection. Like he's trying so hard, but he's just not hitting. He's not cool, but we'll let it slide. You know.
Right, right.
So I feel like he was a good dad. I agree. That was a very sad scene as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought. Have you guys watched all Stranger Things? Okay, I won't say anymore. There's a sad scene. Okay, moving on. This is now the spoiler podcast.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Marlin from Finding Nemo.
Okay,
That's a good dad.
That is a good dad.
I had him originally on my list, but I took him off because he was so overprotective that, like, at the beginning he wasn't that good of a
but
dad because he was
he
too overbearing.
he
Right.
would not let his fears stop him from finding his child.
Yeah, that's
Right.
good.
Yeah,
had
he
good
rose to the
intentions.
occasion.
He went all the way across the ocean.
That's true. All the
And
way.
he's just a clownfish.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's physically impossible
Yeah.
for a clownfish.
Yeah, he
Yes,
wasn't
I mean he had the help of some turtles and some sharks and stuff.
A couple,
He
yeah.
had some help in there. He that with that stream jet or whatever they were in, didn't that cut off
current?
about the current the stream they were up in the air the jet
cloud.
stream. So that's a good one. I agree. Marlon was a good dad.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the best dad, but I think he's a good dad.
He's a good
Mostly
dad.
because he just has like a so much love for Nemo.
Yeah, and I mean he did that all while babysitting Dory. Yeah, so that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. All right. Atticus Finch.
Atticus Finch
Yeah.
from
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes, I never read that actually because it was not. So this is what happened in high school. I was not in honors classes in junior high, and in 9th grade, last second, they had someone drop out, and I was right on the cutoff, so they pushed me into honors in 9th grade, so I didn't have to do the summer reading, and that was one of the summer reading books. So I never have read that book, so I don't know
Read
the.
it now.
All right, let me give you a
Yeah,
rundown.
give me a rundown real quick.
All right. So Atticus Finch is a single father with 2 kids.
Okay.
Scout and Jim, right? Jem.
Gem, the hologram.
I don't remember.
Okay. It
It's
starts
been-
with a
it's
J.
been, like,
Okay.
10
and it's
years.
yeah, it's been forever.
Jedediah.
Okay. And so the whole story is told from Scout, the young
Okay.
girl who's like a tomboy.
So Scout's a girl.
Yeah.
That's an awesome name, by the way.
And she's like, "Oh, my dad's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. He's just my dad." Okay. He is like, "Don't play with guns. Don't do this kind of stuff." You need
He's
to be
the
respectful."
lawyer, right?
Right.
Okay, I know that much.
Okay. So there's this scene where there's a dog with rabies coming down like their strip of homes.
Okay.
And this woman comes up and she's like, "Where's Atticus?" And Scout's like, "Why the hell do you want my dad? Like, he's just like a big dork. Like, we don't
Yeah.
And they're like, "He's the best shot in town." They're like, "No, he's not." And he's like anti-gun, right?
Yeah.
And so he grabs this rifle. Atticus comes out. There's a rabid dog. He like takes his glasses off and kills the dog in one shot. And his
Ooh.
daughter's like, "What the hell? Like, this is
That's
insane."
cool.
And then you start finding more out about Atticus. Atticus is a lawyer who represents a black man in the South.
Oh, wow.
For a crime that he didn't commit, that the whole town is against him.
Wow.
Where a girl lied.
When did this
about-
take place? In the like
20s, I think.
Yeah.
20s. Okay, so this was like well before civil
Right.
rights movements.
Right.
Like, yeah. Okay.
And he, the black man did not commit the crime. The woman was lying and saying that he took advantage of her because she was afraid of her father, right?
Okay.
Of what her father would think when they had a romantic relationship.
Yeah. As you do.
And so he he defends this man when no one
Yeah.
else would. He's like one of the most like badass, honorable people.
That's a
in,
cool.
like,
That's a cool thing.
novelistic
It's like
history.
you're reading a story and you're finding out your dad's kind of a superhero.
Right.
Yeah. That's really cool. I agree with that. I 100% agree. I now have to read the book. It's not a long book, is it?
No,
either. It's
no,
pretty
and
short.
It's super good.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure I have it on my shelf. I'm sure my wife brought it over when we moved in together. So.
Boo Radley, great dad.
Best dad. Rest in peace, Harper Lee. All right, and then I have Uncle Ben Parker from Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben. Okay.
Right. Not a dad.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's
That's
Uncle
surrogate
Ben,
father. He's
but still,
there.
like
Yeah.
he's a father figure. He's Peter's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave Peter the like motto to live by. Right?
Probably one of the most
Worst dad
important
makes him say
superhero
that thing
models.
over and over
Yeah, right. No, worst dad continually dies on
Nonstop.
every new reboot, except for the last one.
Yeah.
Already dead.
Yeah, just dead already. Yeah, no, I agree. It's true. He's like it's probably the most well-known and important superhero mantra.
Right.
Is with great power comes great
Oh,
responsibility.
that was look both ways before crossing the street.
Yes.
He also says that.
Yeah, don't pro wrestle in a cage. That's another one. Yeah, I like those. Those are good ones. You guys are thinking of a lot of ones I didn't think of, so that's really good. What do you have, Krager?
Okay, so my number one dad, who also would be my number one, because we're also doing dads we want as our own, correct?
We will do that.
Okay, yeah. So
Spoilers.
Calm down.
In case you didn't know.
Uncle Phil from Fresh
Boom.
Prince.
He's my number one.
the
Yeah, he's
one.
my number
The
one,
number
too.
one. He is so caring, so nice, rich. You know.
Yes.
Wow.
Everyone.
Rich.
But see, the thing is, he's rich, but still down to
Yeah,
earth.
like that's the biggest thing.
But
Yes.
he's also rich.
But he's also rich and has a butler, a black guy with a black butler. Is that racist? I don't know.
He's creating jobs.
Yeah, exactly. There you
Well,
go.
like he does, like at every point, he just like he doesn't make a wrong step. You know, he
Yeah.
always just like the perfect dad.
Oh, I totally agree. There's multiple times where he pretty much buries people verbally to protect his family and to bring out what's right
Put all
and
his
correct.
kids through school, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he's just compassionate.
Well, and like we forget that at the beginning of the series, he doesn't know Will that well.
Yeah.
It's his wife's nephew, and they've probably only met a few times. So he's willing to bring this person in he barely knows who's a hooligan and in trouble and actually protect
this
him.
riffraff.
That hooligan.
Well, he's not
Bum.
really willing to.
Miserable
He's just trying
bum.
to keep his wife happy.
Man, I don't know. But I said so. I want to talk about that because there was that moment, one of the I think the most emotional moments in television history when him and Will Smith's character have that thing about his father comes back into his life, then he bounces on him, and he's all like, "Why doesn't my dad want me? Why doesn't he want me?" And then Uncle Phil's like, "I want you," and they hug. And there's that myth that was all ad-lib, that it was Will Smith saying it from his personal experience. So I did a little bit of research on that because I wanted to bring that up, and I always thought that was true as well, that this was just ad-lib because it was one take. They did it in one take. And if you watch, the hat like kind of gets knocked off, and then Uncle Phil just like knocks it off. James Avery knocks it off. And normally they would reset and reshoot because that's not supposed to happen, but it was so emotional and passionate. They just were like, keep rolling, cut. And you can hear people in the crowd crying and stuff. Like there's like, it's pretty raw. So I did a little bit of research, and that's not true at all. So Will Smith has said multiple times in interviews that, like, my dad's actually the one who encouraged me to do my rap career. Like, when I told them, my mom was like, rap, really? And my dad was like, well, give it a year and, like, try and do it and everything. So that never really came from any personal, like, emotional feeling. It just shows that he's a good actor. Yeah. Like, I'm sure that when you think about that, that's a very emotional thing to think about. But they just did great acting. And it was a great scene, and they're like, just keep it. Keep it. And, you know, it was that passionate that people have formed this legend around it. So, yeah, I think that's super cool. I agree with you. Uncle Phil was my number one.
Yeah, it's really weird that, like, actors can emote.
It's weird because I can barely emote when I have emotions. You know? So, I think, hey, bravo to these people. I could do that.
Liam Neeson in Taken.
Oh.
Is he a good dad?
Okay.
Dangerous
I would say, dangerous dad. Actually, that's true because, no.
He has a particular set of skills.
He does. He's a good dad for that moment in time. That's about it.
He's around his daughter. Like, he had to do what he did to protect his country or whatever, whatever.
It was pretty set up that he neglected them. Like, there were a lot of opportunities he had. Well, he was more married to his job than his family.
Yes, but I feel like in the Taken universe, like, when we came into it, he was...
In that scenario, you're happy to have that as your dad.
Yes, but, like... He everything he was doing up to that point was like sacrificing for himself to do what he can for his daughter, trying to make things work that way. So I don't know.
He's just basically like the violent version of Marlin from Finding Nemo, right?
Yes. Ooh. Or he's also pretty much
he just wasn't clowning around as much.
Oh man, what's Bruce Willis's character in Die Hard? Die Hard Man. He's pretty much Die Hard Man. McClane. John McClane.
No, he's forever. I was Die Hard Man.
Die Hard Man. I was gonna say Steve McQueen. I'm like, no, that's not it. No, John McClane. It's close. Argyle. All right, go ahead.
And then my last one is Ned Stark.
Ned Stark. Okay, is that a Game of Thrones thing?
Yeah.
You're gonna need to explain that to me then.
Good dad.
Yeah.
He's a good dad. Like
We've had this discussion.
Yeah, he takes in this. Well, there's a lot of spoilers. But anyway, he has a bastard.
Okay.
And everyone treats his bastard like crap, and he constantly is like helping him out. All his kids, he's constantly giving them life lessons. And he always puts others first, and he lives in a universe where it's like very medieval, and so like he's technically the king of his realm.
Did you need to use quotation marks for medieval? I'm pretty sure it is medieval. I don't think it's medieval.
Well, it's fantasy.
Yeah,
okay.
It's fantasy. So it's not the actual real medieval.
Okay.
Ages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but anyway, so like they show most of the other kingdoms, the rulers aren't quite as kind. Like he's like the most kind. Always takes into account the people he has to take care of and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to explain, but like he's just like he always does the morally right and like good thing.
Okay.
Bad dad because he was too set in his morals and ended up getting himself killed and
ruining
the
Wow.
world.
Right, you could say he has a really good head on his shoulders.
Now I know how he's gonna die. I know when and how.
You don't
What
know
do I even
when.
need to watch this? That's true. I don't know when.
If you haven't watched it now, that's the first season.
I was gonna say it.
There's no spoilers warning for me because I'm way past the statute of limitation on that show.
Yeah.
So okay, Ned Stark. I'll take your word for it. Is that Ned Stark is Tony Stark's brother also, right? Yeah.
Tony Stark's brother? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Could be alternate
So
universe.
Kipka, what do you think?
Well, I was gonna say Fresh Prince, but that was already said. So I was also thinking, what's his name? Growing Pains, the dad from Growing Pains.
Growing Pains' dad. I don't know that one.
He was like a
Who's that?
psychologist, I think.
I do remember
He had
Growing
a-
Pains. That's
he
the
had
one with
his-
Leonardo
Leo
DiCaprio.
came in like in a later season,
And they let him live
Kirk
a-
Cameron. Yeah,
Yes,
Alan
that's
Thicke.
it. Alan Thicke. Yeah. Okay. I honestly don't remember the show that much. Like I put down Danny Tanner because I figured they're kind of the same cut of cloth.
Very similar.
But
Same kind of shows.
Full House was something I watched. I didn't really watch Growing Pains that much, but I'll take it. Alan Thicke's a cool guy. He's Canadian. He can do no wrong.
Was a cool guy.
Was a cool guy. Oh, what happened? Is there
R.I.P.
something
Alan
bad?
Thicke.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. Way to
Oh my
bum me out. I forgot.
Wait,
That's like if you told me
die?
Prince was dead.
When did he
Prince
die?
is dead.
Okay.
We're gonna have to have a talk.
I know, right? The problem is whenever celebrities I like die, I kind of just like forget about it because I don't want to remember it. So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah. Does anyone remember what his name was in Growing Pains? You have your phone, so maybe you remember.
Yeah, his name was Michael Paines.
Michael Paines? Yeah, the Payne family.
Dr. Jason Seaver.
Seaver. The
Seaver,
Seaver
yes.
family. Okay. Well, I put Uncle Phil was my number one. Danny Tanner's on there. Red Foreman we talked about a little bit before. I think he's a good dad. Then Noah Levinstein from the American Pie series. So
wow.
this guy realizes, so he not only helps keep secrets for his kid of sticking his dick in a pie. We just won't tell your mother. We'll tell her we ate it. He consistently helps his kid out throughout the series. So he realizes that kids make mistakes. And during those awkward formative years, he doesn't make like any big commotion out of it and just goes, see, let's learn from this, and sweeps it under the rug. So I think he's a good dad. Like, that's a pretty cool dad.
I mean, not to mention all those terrible other movies that they made under the American Pie title.
Yeah.
He's like giving advice and like being a father figure to like other random kids.
I know. And they're like, well, this guy's, yeah, that was more a plot device than anything. But sure, he's a great dad to everyone. Yeah. So those were mine. So let's talk about some not sure dads real quick here, because I had we talked about Batman, but we kind of put him in the good dad or the worst dad category.
Bad dad.
So here's one.
Dad.
Homer Simpson. Where would you put him on that spectrum?
Bad
dad.
Bad dad?
Bad
You
dad.
think's bad dad?
Yeah,
okay.
bad dad.
Okay.
Good heart, bad dad.
Did you say you thinks?
You think's?
You think's
You
bad
think's
dad?
dad? I got Jar Jar on the brain. I just grew out of one of those eggs. So everyone's kind of
You got a little
in
schmegma
agreement
there.
that he's a bad dad.
Have you seen how many times he strangled his son?
That's true, but he never killed him.
Makes it worse. You're just prolonging it.
Okay, I'll give you that. So here's the one that I have the hardest time with. Ross Geller.
Ooh.
Friends is lame.
Because
Next.
Friends is lame.
But here's the thing. So here's my points. What we see little of him and his son, he does a good job. Although it's pretty boring stuff for a sitcom, so I understand why they don't show it as much. But here's the thing. We rarely see his son Ben, who he usually only uses as an excuse to get out of things. Then, in later seasons, once he has a daughter, he pretty much writes Ben off completely and never sees the kid again and only focuses on his daughter. And, I mean, it
Sounds
just
like
seems like a
bad
bad
writing
dad.
in a bad
He
show.
just seems
Sounds
like
like
a
a
really
Wait,
bad
Jordan,
dad.
correct me if I'm wrong. I just kind of now realized Ben wasn't at the wedding in England, was he?
No.
Yeah.
Ben never shows up. Like, they
Bad
only throw Ben in
writing.
for a plot device.
Yeah.
So he's a bad dad
You
because
guys are also in your 20s, and you're guys, and you're watching Friends. New show.
All
New
right.
show.
Well then, fine. We're moving along. Okay. Before we get into dads that we want to have, let's talk about the most dangerous dads. So, do you guys have any off the top of your head you want to think of real quick? I'll tell you my three. I have
Splinter.
3 dangerous dads.
Yeah, tell me.
My first dangerous dad is George McFly.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's always getting into trouble and oblivious to social cues, and you can die and get wiped out of existence if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
So does it mean it's dangerous to have them as a father?
to have them as a father, it would be
Okay.
dangerous for your
Oh,
livelihood.
that's-
And I
I
guess
thought-
that only makes sense for Marty McFly. But I mean,
Well, I was gonna say Marty's way more dangerous and daring than his father was. So.
but I mean, Marty, Marty's kids are never gonna die if Marty does something wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
they are. They won't exist.
Give
But
me the milk.
If he dies, then his
Chocolate.
kids won't exist.
No, but if you think
I
about
guess
it,
it's true.
Everyone existed until Marty went back and caused something that might not have them exist and made them exist. You know, he's the one who pushed his dad out of the way.
Yeah, but he did. I guess that's true. But it wasn't Marty's fault. He was just trying to get away from the Ukrainian people. Are they Ukrainian? The people that shoot Doc
No,
Brown at the
they're-
beginning.
No, they're Iranian. I think.
Iranian.
Wasn't Iran-
There's something Anian.
It's
One of the
They're like some
it's
Middle
one
Eastern
of the
thing.
Middle Eastern.
Yeah, we never get to see their faces really. We just see them shooting guns from a
We see
car.
one, and it's definitely like a Mexican guy.
Oh, is it? Do we
Oh,
see
yeah.
one? I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
they say they're
It's
Middle
like-
Eastern.
it's
Oh,
like
that's
if
so funny.
Mario
It's like
was a
super
person.
80s racist. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, so I think George McFly was one. Tim Taylor. Tim Taylor would be
from-
The Tool Man?
from
Yeah.
Home
I was
Improvement.
gonna say he was a good one.
He's dangerous?
Yeah, he's dangerous.
Just because he's like...
Because he's so clumsy, he's always catching things on fire, being electrocuted, and having things fall on him, and he never learns his lesson.
Oh.
And he
Sounds
always
like a
and he-
bad dad.
And he gets caught with a whole bunch of coke.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Was that the TV show or
Nope.
that
I don't
was
know. Same
that was
guy.
IRL?
You're just talking about Tim Allen.
Yeah,
and
Tim
that.
Allen, not Tim Taylor. Yeah, no, I think Tim Taylor would have a very dangerous set. He multiple occasions he burns down his house with his children in it. Like,
bad dad. He's not dangerous.
Yeah,
He's
and
a
yet, you
bad
ever
dad.
notice how every time he has, like the helper on the show is always an extremely hot woman? Like, come on,
Oh,
something's going
Heidi.
on the side.
Yeah, Heidi.
Yep.
And his kids love Heidi.
I mean,
and
it's
then
TV. You gotta get the eyes on the
the
set.
third one I have here is Wayne Zelinsky, because that dude is always shrinking things, and if you have him as a dad, you're gonna get shrunk at some point.
Yeah.
Danger.
Wayne Zelinsky is a dangerous dad.
Dangerous dad.
Oh my gosh. And I always had this problem. So in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, there's the scene where he realizes they're shrunk and he goes to the backyard and he's like hanging himself on that wire thing and looking. He constantly puts his hand down to like push himself.
He's gonna squish his
I'm like, you're gonna push him.
Can't find them. They're on a
Yeah. I'm like, you are not being that safe, sir.
Stu Pickles from the Rugrats.
Yes.
Always
dangerous?
inventing very dangerous
Yes.
things.
His toys never work out.
Yeah.
Like they always have a problem with them.
They'll explode.
Not to mention he lets his like less than 1-year-old baby constantly get out of his crib, out of the house, and do things. Like,
And remember that episode where he went to go fix the water heater and it was just tied up with bubblegum, paper clips, and
yeah, that's a
like,
dangerous
wrappers?
dad. That is one dangerous dad.
It's okay.
Yeah,
He's an
he's
inventor.
Is that like the 90s equivalent of saying like, oh, it's okay, he's a DJ?
I guess. No, Stu Pickles was just
He's an entrepreneur.
yeah, he was a good guy, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he's a dangerous dad to have. I think another dangerous dad to have would be, what's the name of Belle's dad in Beauty and the Beast? Because
Maurice?
yeah, Maurice.
How's he dangerous?
Because he pretty much got his daughter into a lifetime of captivity with a beast for his stupidity.
No. He was a good dad.
Yeah, he was a good dad.
He was okay. He had the one daughter. Who,
He was a
like,
good dad who let
could
his
read in the whole,
daughter,
like town.
but he let his daughter take his place in a life sentence.
He didn't have a say in it. It just kind of happened.
He had a say in it.
No, like he kind of like.
He could have had a say in it.
Not to the beast.
Yeah, if the
I
beast.
guess.
Yeah, the beast is like, hey, get your old ass out of here. I want your daughter up
Yeah.
in here. You know.
I guess that's true. So do you think the beast still had sexual desires as a human?
What do you mean?
Like, so when he turned, so like when you see like they all turn into like Cogsworth or whatever and all
Right.
that, do you think they still were like, I want to bang?
Oh, 100%, because
Well,
Lumiere's trying to
obviously,
bang
yeah.
the
Oh, that's
the
true.
duster.
Lumiere, yeah. It's
Trying to get
still...
his own feathers.
All right, so I guess Beast was just really angsty and didn't care about that because he really was just like
He was angsty just because he needed a nut.
That's why. Yeah, that's exactly why. He's like, no one will love me, and I can't do it myself because of these claws.
I can't even find it.
Oh God. Okay, so that took a bad turn. Let's
Yeah,
move
it
into dads that we would want. So Cole, what's a dad that you would want?
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson. Okay,
He
nice.
turns out to be a really good dad.
Yeah.
Once he you see it with the two girls that
Mhm.
he's this kind of stepdad for, and then he has his own son, and he's very protective and he's very in tune
Yeah.
with the kids, even though he might pawn off the girls a couple times, but he still cares about his children.
I can see that, and you'll always know you'll get enough protein. There's steak
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And the furniture in your bedroom is going to be exquisite.
Yes, and very safe.
Perfect. I like that. Did you just do one for dad you would want, or did you do multiple?
No, I did multiple.
Okay.
My second one was
So you're gonna be like those gay dads, kind of multiple dads.
yeah.
All right.
Whoa, getting
a
edgy.
threesome.
Wait. I didn't ask what your browser history was, man.
Let's unpack that one.
Human Sentai dad.
Hey,
Raymundo, even though you said he was a bad dad.
Because you just want to go hang out with
he'd
him.
be cool dad.
He'd be cool if so if you had multiple dads, it'd be cool to have Raymundo as a dad because he
Yeah.
wouldn't need to do any discipline. You just go hang out with him.
And then
Yeah.
just hang at the restaurant and like get a burger.
Yeah,
and
get
high.
fries
me how
whenever
to
you want.
skateboard
Yeah,
all the
there
time.
you go.
And then my third one was Grandpa Phil from Hey Arnold,
Yes.
because he was
He's
a very
good, yeah.
dad.
No, he's a great
A
dad.
little crazy.
A little
but
crazy, but you want a little
who's
crazy
not?
with your dad, yeah.
All right, I'd go with Phil Dunphy from Modern Family.
Okay, that's a good one. I
Yeah.
never watched Modern Family except for the 1 minute before SmackDown comes on.
Right.
And everything I see of him, I love.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's really, really funny. He's a total goober. He'd be fun to hang out with. I would want Master Splinter to be my dad.
Because he would teach you karate.
He would teach me karate. I could finally be Leonardo.
There you
It'd all
go.
work
Yes.
And pizza.
out. Oh,
And-
and pizza. Yeah, let's meet pizza.
Yeah, whenever you want. It's
I
like
know.
having the babysitter there every night of the week. It's great.
Exactly. And then the professor from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, yes. That's a good
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great dad to have. That would be
Yeah,
a really
he'd
cool
the
dad to
coolest
have.
Dad. He's like super smart. Like
Yeah.
he gave me powers.
Yeah.
Like, he tucks me in at night and make sure that it's not too dark or anything.
Yeah.
Like Yeah,
I
he's
love
right.
it because he is a great dad, but he has these kids that are just like kick butt. It's great. I love it.
He's awesome.
It's so
It's out
cool.
of his hands.
All right, Krager, what do you think?
Well, number one is Uncle Phil.
Yes.
He's the one I want to have.
Yeah,
Because he's rich. yeah.
Rich.
We all know what you want, Krager. We know.
Wait, next one is not rich. Marshall Erickson. I think
Marshall Erickson. Marshall's cool.
I think he'd be a really cool dad to have.
He would have a cool dad
He'd
to
be,
have.
he'd be a
cool
lot
dad.
of fun, and he's also very compassionate.
Yeah,
Would be a
that
good
bedtime
dad.
song alone is a great reason to have Marshall Erickson as a dad.
I feel
yeah.
like you just have like a blast.
Yeah.
as a dad.
He's so cool that he named your middle name. Wait for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's cool.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But I do love Jason Segel.
Yeah, Jason
I always
Segel.
say Jason Seagal. I don't know why. Jason Segel.
I guess this one's kind of bad too because it's more on the money thing, but Forrest Gump. I think Forrest Gump will be a cool dad because to hear all those things your dad did,
Okay.
like all those cool stories, like you'd have the coolest dad. Like
Yeah.
everything he did, like that's real. Like you have a hero as a dad. I mean, yeah, he's rich, but like he's cool. He's compassionate.
He's a very loving dad.
yeah, very loving dad. I feel like he'd be
Yeah.
a really awesome dad to have.
Yeah, and it's like the best part of the whole movie is like when he's concerned that his son, if his son is smart or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time I've seen the movie 8 million times, I'll still cry.
Oh, every time. And
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It's like, oh, what did your dad do? He fought in the war, was a war hero. He pulled down his pants on TV. he was an Alabama football star.
And he's really rich.
Yeah, really rich.
That bubble gum.
Yeah, love shrimp, popcorn shrimp.
Has
He drank
anyone
like 35 Dr. Peppers.
Yes.
That's a kick ass
And he
ping
probably
pong.
ran further than anyone's ever run.
That's
Great
He
card
holds the
ever.
world record. Yeah.
Great cardio.
Yeah. Great guy. Great beard.
Good genes.
What do you think, Kipka?
Well, speak about running, I guess maybe Bruce Jenner, right?
Oh, he'd be the best dad to have and the best mom to have.
Oh, wait, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. That one just kind of distracted me from anything else now.
You get distracted by Kendall Jenner or whatever her name is. So what?
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn Jenner,
Caitlyn.
whatever.
Yeah, Kendall Jenner's the actual daughter.
Yeah, she's hot. Yeah.
Is Kendall the older
Hey,
one
man,
or
that,
Kylie?
that would
I
be
don't
my
know.
hypothetical sister.
Yes, your hypothetical sister. Okay, so you don't have another one. Your dad's cool.
I'm
Have
happy
your
with my
dad be
dad.
what? Be the best dad to have.
I know. I'm happy with my dad.
There you go. So I think Mac McGuff from Juno would be a pretty cool dad to
Be a
have.
cool dad to have
Yeah.
too.
Because he loves her unconditionally. And also, I think his son is not his biological son. I think that because he got remarried, but he still loves that kid, and he does like anything to help. Not to mention, he's so chill. Like his kid got knocked up, and he's like, "Yeah, let's go find some random people to in the penny saver to take your kid." Like he's totally supportive of her. Like it's great.
And he's gonna punch that kid Polly Bleecker in the wiener
Yeah,
next time he sees him.
exactly. Yeah, and like because he diffuses every situation with humor. It's great. It's great to have a dad. And he says the best thing he ever said. Look, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is find a person who loves you for exactly what you are. Good mood, bad mood, ugly, pretty, handsome. What you have, the right person is still going to think the sun shines out of your ass. That's great. That's great. That's great advice. And then my second dad I'd want to have is Arthur Weasley from Harry Potter. Because that dude not only has raised 7 kids, but he then brings Hermione and Harry into the fold as well and is kind of a surrogate dad to both of them. And so he's very quirky, but he's also, passionate and steadfast. Like he knows what he believes. He's willing to fight Voldemort, or he who shall not be named, and everything. And he can do magic. I mean, that'd be a cool dad to have, is to have a dad that does a cool magic tricks and everything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yondu.
Yondu.
Not to.
Good dad.
In the end, not a terrible dad. He's
Hey,
Mary
better-
Poppins,
Mary
yo.
Better than his real dad.
Do you want to
Yeah,
travel
very true.
through space and learn how to steal things?
And he doesn't even let the crew
through the
eat
galaxy?
his kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't let him eat him.
That's so
yeah, it's
nice.
great.
Yondu, good dad.
Yeah. So I think those were all really good dads, bad dads, dangerous dads. Those were dads. And we celebrate dads. So if you're listening to this episode, the day it was released is the week after Father's Day. So you had already celebrated your dad, but now we get to talk about some other fun dads. So I think that's it. That's what we got. So if you want to follow us, Instagram, Twitter, @WreckMyPodcast. We have a show come out every Wednesday, sometimes on Saturday as a bonus episode. This last Saturday, we had a fun little trivia with
bonus.
Buds episode that I did.
Yeah.
That will be coming out on his podcast soon as well. And Cam has one that he did that will be on Ryan's Trivia with Buds podcast.
Yeah,
and yours is very funny and a lot of good questions. I liked it. Yeah, it was a good time. So those will be some fun things. So go check that out. And then we're going to be doing something new as well. We're going to be recording it right after this. It's Wreck My News or something of that sort, where we're kind of just every week, it's going to come out on Monday, and we're going to say what we're stoked on from the week before.
Stoked, bro.
So stoked, whether it be trailers, new music coming out, a comic, a movie, someone doing something of significance, a merger, a buyout, Middle East becoming peaceful, anything that stokes us.
Getting less stoked, bro.
So that's what we'll do. So that'll be coming out on Mondays.
Talking mergers, bro.
As well. So I think that's it. So I think we're done here.
All right,
okay,
peace.
bye.
Bye, I love you.
Oh, could you hear me drinking?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was gross. I hate it.
Just the gulp. 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 Yeah, so I think you hear more in these right now than you would in the recording anyway. So
Like Marjorie.
other people won't be disgusted by you slurping down that monster.
What is that noise?
What is that? What is that guy doing?